Hello. Lee's going to be just a minute, but I saw people in chat, so I was like, well, I'm starting it up so no one leaves. Thanks for making it all. I see you, Mechanical Frog, Blood Medusa, good to see you again. King Crimson, appreciate you stopping in. Martin, we got Overton. Everyone's here. Thanks a lot. I okay, so I ran the thread yesterday for the free Paintover day, and now I'm so bad. I'm gonna have to look on Twitter to get the name because this thing was so cool. Um, wait, profile. Chu Han, John Romero, on Twitter, and this thing was so great. And I wanted to try it, but I have this all compiled already. Darn it, I don't have just the photo. It was shaded so beautifully that it's one of those scary ones. I see I missed a light on the foot. I gotta put that light on. But it came out better than like I wanted to get it where it's kind of in that lush kind of forest thing, but when I do the forest now, I can put, because of how I do it, it comes too much leaves. You have to simplify, with what shapes you're getting, and I didn't have like a good, real good approach for that yet, so I've been trying to work on it more and more, and I thought that one really came out good. The lighting on, and I don't get a chance to do much tau, and he really lit these lights bright, and I may go back one time and add maybe a little more light to some of these on the one on the foot, but he had them lit really bright so it like plays into a Paintover perfectly. Wait, now let me connect the chat. Yeah, thank you, Overton. Yeah, that thing is incredible. It's judging by the other model, this thing has to be massive. I started on these three. So this one, I don't know if I'm trying to bite off more than I can chew by doing four, but I want that light. They have a nice silhouette and they have some stuff, so I want light behind them. And I was trying to sort that out. I think I want light behind them. The shadow is kind of working. And then I had to put in some more ground texture because it was kind of. I might go that way. We'll see. Crystal Ann, thanks for making it. Your sound died, Overton. Though I guess you're not hearing this. Thanks. Wait, this is Crazy Doug's. I think this is yours. I'm debating of having him shooting or not. I didn't know with the guy in front. Like I don't know if it's like. I mean, do we think about it? Should I have these shooting or should I not have them shooting? I was gonna charge up like the plasma weapon and the other one's goggles and stuff, but I don't know if I should have any of them shooting. So kind of. I'll take your input on that one. All right, Forge. I'll see you in 5. Working on this one, I took like 3 different. What do we got here? Put like 3 different photos together, trying to get like something roughed in for the background. And this one, I might go. I'm debating. So he has the blue lightning, which I really like on the stuff. So I wanted to play it up, right? For some reason, I want to go gold on his whatever that is, the thing he's holding, and but then it conflicts with like the blue. So I'm trying to sort through this. I just wanted to get some of the stuff lit on him and have that area because I knew it was gonna be glowing and lightning like. I don't know what to do with the staff, like at the top. Like should it have more lightning? But if it's blue, it if the lightning itself is blue, I would kind of have to like retint that whole thing and play it up and change the color of the model, which I sometimes don't like to just do. Lee missed the bus. Crazy Doug says, "Free reign, man. I just paint minis," and you do a really good job. Those are some awesome minis and a great composition, by the way. And Overton's vote is non-shooty. Okay, so I'll have some charged up. I want to do the. I want to do, like these goggles, have them lit. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and I was gonna, amp up the little gold and the, just the jet packs and stuff. I left the composition kind of high, but I figure you can always put words across the top or something. I don't know if you ever wanted to use it for something. Who knows? So that way, I was like, well, I'll leave it high, and then that way, if you wanted to put a title or something on it, you could have it. This one, I love this one, right? But it's one of those where there's not much I would even do to it. And all I wanted to do is like get some of the kind of glowy lightning. It's hard because I see this hammer and it's kind of lit bright with that light, right? And I'm like, okay, if you could get some like lightning charge in there. But if you put too much lightning in, it's going to change how the scene itself would be look, how it would look. So it would be like some weird awkward thing. So I'm just trying to play up. I don't mind more gold. I don't try to tint stuff too much, but I'm like, if there's going to be like legit colored magic coming off of here, I had another section I had to delete it because I went too much. I put too many sparkles and everything on and lost the plot. So this one, I'm just trying to. I want to kind of get those hammers kind of glowing right and have it reflecting off their armor and add some like blur and like energy charge to them, like they are all juiced up from Sigmar and going into the fight. In the grim dark of the 41st century, public transit still sucks. Yeah, some things never change. And then this one, I don't know. I'm hoping this one I'll end up doing. I want to do. I'm going to keep the background. I keep the background mostly black, but I want some sort of like flowing bloody river. I did one for Magic that had some like good blood splatter stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm having fun with that. So I want some kind of like later on it's just moody, like maybe it's like the river of like the blood, and it'll be half like coagulated and stuff flowing away, and then maybe in the background like a glowing kind of corn structure. So I don't know, but I just dig this one, and I haven't um, done many on the black background lately. So I was like, all right, don't wimp out. Like, work on it and practice some stuff on black so you can get better at that too. So now I got to work on these, I guess. Oh, wait, where's the iced tea? 8 viewers. Thanks for making it. If you do enjoy this, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. And I got to do this stuff more. Wait, where is it? Bam. Where we can put stuff like that out so I can. Oh, I got to turn this off. I got to get more in the habit of using that. This one's for Patreon, but it has their logo, but it doesn't say like Patreon. So if you flash this, people probably don't even know the logo for that. And I don't like on my interface. This to be able to bring up those overlays is in a different spot than bringing up the conversation. So I have to switch back and forth. I don't kind of like that. Hey, Goathead, thanks for swinging by. And thanks for submitting models. You had some cool stuff. I I generally like to. I think that's gonna be part of it too. Is regularly. I loved looking through everyone's images on Twitter with Lee and talking about them. And I just when I do that, I don't. I have less time to actually work on the Paintover. So that's one thing I'm gonna start regularly doing because that's actually one of my favorite parts. I like kind of just, I don't know, little feedback and then talking about it and get some of my good ideas and stuff. Oh wait, I think someone's here. Oh, someone is here. Wait, here we go. One, two. I just love that sound. It's so good. I mean, it's like it made me happy just to hear that. What's up, Lee?
The temperature.
Oh, good, good.
Over here in Blighty, we're all sweating in our underwear. It is incredibly uncomfortable.
It dropped like probably 8 or 10 degrees from last week here, so it's been a nice, like, you know what I mean. That was a good temperature drop, so it's been pretty good. That
I
was it
have
was
found,
that was draining me.
yeah, it was unexpected. Well, I don't pay attention to news reports or weather reports. So every day is like a pleasant surprise of scariness and heat in this current climate.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Crimson. Hello, Blood Medusa. Wildly appears. Yes, I'm very wild.
What Blood Medusa? I think didn't I do a paint over for Blood Medusa? I'm trying to remember which one it was. I can't
It was
remember.
a Zetch, fly thingy. I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay, one of those. Okay, oh, now I remember the discs, the things. Yeah. Okay, good.
Flyers, Zetch. And Crystal. Hello, Crystal. Ooh.
Echo made it too. Echo, wait, Echo.
Echo and put Martin Potato Majors here.
Did
Echo.
Echo submitted one? Oh, see, Echo. Don't worry, I remember Echo now. Echo, I'm gonna get the three. You have like the sniper scouts. Don't worry, I didn't forget. They're not up here, but I'm really gonna end up doing it. So that one's on the list too. I want that
Whew.
one. That one I got to put in too. I got to be more selective with these and not in a like picky way, but I want some to be horizontal for YouTube so I can run time lapses. And so I've been noticing, man, I'm picking too many vertical ones. I'm like, I need some more like horizontal compositions.
Let's even go outside the box there and go diagonal.
Yeah, for sure.
The Joel Schumacher of like
Right. So what's
just to be different.
what was I going to ask? I'm trying to figure out. I mean, your winter over there probably comes at the same time. I'm wondering if like it's probably not much difference as far as when it starts getting cooler for you guys. I mean, does it usually start cooling down like around September?
Generally, as a rule, yes, but global warming has really thrown a spanner into all of that.
Yeah.
So yes, it's warmer than it generally used to be back in the days when I was young. Everyone here was younger. It you knew where you stood with the weather, sort of. Snow at winter, which was appreciated. We get snow in April. We've had snow in May once.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't trust anything now. Oh. Ah, excellent echo. Yes, I'm glad I was right. I like being right. I can accept being wrong as well, but
I was thinking about it the other day. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, I didn't. I've looked at so many model photos for literally like over a year, right? Like just thousands. And what's funny is I'm like, wow, I looked at some like I would not ever thought of that. And I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, I've looked at thousands and thousands of models, and I would almost think I would be like bored with it. But I keep every time I just see stuff, and I'm like, that's really cool. And it's like all this unique stuff for like a whole nother like year of it. You know what I mean? It's like been going on, and it's still just so much cool like stuff out there. And it's so many like
you have obsession.
I would think I like, and the other thing is, I would think I would almost run out of color combos to see. Like that's what surprises me. I'm like, you would think how many miniatures have you looked at? You probably hit every possible color combination there is, but you still like really haven't. You know, it's pretty cool.
See, that's if you want to challenge for color combinations. Not only have you got some of Blood Medusa's awesome work is like very colourful, but Crystal's as well. Her Squeak army or empire of Squeaks is like Technicolor dream rainbow of awesomeness. So yeah, if you want to challenge yourself, really, do a paint over, then they're the ones you want to hit. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting hair in the face. Fan, hair, face, talking.
Yeah, heat, everything else.
So we know it's going to be a good show. I'm on the second beer. So
Oh, perfect. I was looking to this was a good day. I was looking forward to the to getting out and streaming. I'm like, I've been so I like I've been eating better, like uh lose weight, got exercise, like did all that stuff. It cleaned a bunch of stuff because like after I turned in all the Mantic work, I still did the free paint over days and finished up a few commissions and that, but I'm kind of like regretful. I should have been. I'm like, man, I should have been working on the t-shirts and doing a few other administrative stuff. So, but instead, I kind of like cleaned and like went and like did some like normal cooking and all that kind of stuff. So whatever, and like I got outdoors a bunch more because I'm like, okay, it's nice, and I'm like, it's gonna be winter, so I'm all like scared of winter. I've never been like scared of winter, but I'm literally like scared of winter. Like, oh gosh, it's gonna be like all cold. I'm not gonna be able to go outside. I'm like, better go now.
yeah, that's the thing though. It's like winters in America, like winters over here are bad, but over in America, you just up it by like especially like the Chicago area when they have winters, people die.
Yeah, I think what is be probably mostly because a lot of the warmth of the ocean air kind of keeps it just a little maybe softens it or something. I would think.
Mm. Yeah, it was it's just one of those things like how everything has changed over the last sort of 20, 30 years. Like I still some of our viewers here may not even remember the big thing in the 80s, which was the ozone layer hole and
Oh
like
yeah,
not using
yeah.
in aerosols and stuff, which we stopped CFCs and the stuff that we've replaced it with is affecting the atmosphere in other ways. So the hole's getting smaller slightly. Well, it's not growing anymore. It's going to take ages. But yeah, with everything else going on in the world where everything's getting hotter, water levels, flooding. Yeah, I think we're coming into the apocalypse years.
Yeah. Oh, Montana winters are fun. I was only to Montana once, but I freaking loved it. I ended up going. I hiked in that Great Glacier National Park. I, we we were so stupid. That was so funny. I don't even know what early teenagers got to Glacier National Park, and instead of like we would pick these things and we didn't go like hiking. We picked a spot like I don't even know, it was like 12 miles, 14 miles or whatever. And in one of the stops, and like I don't know how dumb we were. We were literally packing like some canned food and like all this heavy stuff. So like his monster backpacks, and it was so funny. We got like they had a camp spot that was like 7 miles in on this one, and we were supposed to do this double leg. I think we did the double leg the one day, and then going back or going up further, we just couldn't do a double one, so we had to like stay in the one campsite, and they're all kind of like booked. So we met these two people. Like, oh yeah, come on, you can share a campsite with us. And then we had a big smorgasbord because I brought way too much food, and it was like all this heavy stuff. So I'm like, here guys, eat a whole ton of stuff so I can lighten my pack.
Now, I mentioned smorgasbord because Hobbiton is from up the lands of smorgasbords, I believe. Well, from what you were saying in the chat, anyway. Yeah, it's people's ideas of going camping and the realities of camping are two completely different things.
Yeah.
Especially like over here, like with festivals, for example, like the big music festivals like Glastonbury, Reading,
Yeah.
stuff like that. The amount of tents that now get left and abandoned.
Oh yeah. People don't want to pack any of that up or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just leave them there. And it's just like that. Well, luckily there's like lots of charity organisations that now go around the campsites after events and
Yeah.
collect these tents up to like resell or send out into like third world countries and stuff like that. So it's like a circle of life thing. You know, they get recycled, but the amount of times that people don't they underestimate what's involved in camping, in like proper camping, like wild camping and stuff like that. Or the thing where, oh, we got to go somewhere, but it's got to have a toilet. That's not sort of like what real camping's about. You know, you go in the middle of nowhere and you know
I'm fine.
tent.
Like, I see. I guess I would still do it, but all in all, it's like, oh, when I go up north, you have a small little like cabin, like this little like basically like a shack, and stay. But it's still different than like if you were tenting it and you go sleep on a tent and then like make it on the ground and whatever. So I don't have a problem with that. Like there's no electricity, none of that stuff up there. But I'm like, okay, for a tent, I'm like, it would have to be if I'm going to go hiking and staying in for a tent for a while. It's got to be like someplace like really cool or whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be a rough night.
You know, I think actually the last time, well, apart from in the back garden in a kid's tent, which doesn't really count for camping, the last time I was in a tent in a camping type situation was actually a festival. It was Glastonbury in 2000. That's how long ago I've been dying
Yeah.
to go ever since. Like to camping, not Glastonbury. Well, Glastonbury would probably be all right, I suppose. Depends who's playing, but you know, go out into like the wild somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, like over here, there's like a Dartmoor or Salisbury Plains sort of thing, which is down towards like Devon and Cornwall,
Yeah.
which is a huge wild sort of land nature reserve type thing, where you can wild camp, as it's called, which means you can just go out and you have to be
Yeah.
responsible between be careful with what you're doing. But I'd love to do that just because, like with my like nocturnal photography that I
Oh
like to,
yeah, yeah. If
you
you
know,
could,
being at
yeah.
those sort of places, that you know the stars would be absolutely
Oh,
magnificent because of
the I
light.
yeah. If you would have saw it one time where I was, it was Aurora Borealis, and I was so glad I had two other people with me to witness it because it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen as far as like nature. And
Mm.
you'd have it's hard to describe, but it wasn't just a typical aurora borealis where it was wavering. We reached a certain point and I had to look to see if there was pictures of it. Literally, if you were just standing and you put your arms out to your side and pointed them for like half the earth, so behind you is one half and in front of you is the other half, from those 2 points, all in front of you was complete light, all the way up to a point way above. You could see like it was like the solar flare banging off the atmosphere and traveling past you because of the angle. And it was the most amazing thing. And we didn't have any cameras up there. And it's so weird to explain to someone because I didn't think it was possible with the northern lights. But I did see a couple like photos of it, and it was just incredible. I always remember that. I thought of you because of those pictures. You take really good night photography, and when you're away from all the light pollution, that stuff really pops.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Is where I am in Essex. I'm right. Um, I'm right near a couple of major sort of towns because I work on one side of Essex and I live on the other side of Essex.
Gotcha.
So it's you've got three major towns within sort of 10 miles where I
Yeah.
am, and plus I'm in a built-up area. I'm not in like a rural sort of area.
Yeah.
But the main difference is like because you get a little bit more sort of lack of night pollution where I am, and especially
Gotcha.
after 1 a.m. they turn the street lights off,
Yeah. Okay. Then that's the yeah.
so that helps. um, but the camera, my camera phone, which is a an iPhone,
Yeah.
it has a really good sort of nighttime
It
photo.
absolutely, yeah, it picks that up.
Yeah, so I get some quite nice pictures, and then I like yourself, I tidied them up in Photoshop where I reduced the glare because there is still
Yeah.
light, but at least you can actually see stars.
Hmm.
And I've always enjoyed looking at stars whenever I could. But when I was in New Zealand in 2002, we were staying in a place called Kakora, which is in the South Island, which is an old whaling station, but now it's
Yeah.
um, they have like whale tours, so you can go there, jump on these high-powered uh, boats, and they take you out to look at whales as they
Yeah.
surface, and dolphins and loads of other sort of mammals that travel that route. But we went out shopping to get some food, and we returned to our place where we rented like a small apartment,
Yeah.
like what we call them bungalows, which are
Yeah.
basically ground floor place. As I put the key into the door, for some reason I looked upwards and I saw the center of the Milky Way just there, like
Yeah.
above me, because I'm from like urban areas. I'm like
Yeah. Yeah.
London. You never look up because there's no
Yeah.
point. You can't see anything.
There's nothing to see anyway, so what were you looking up for? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there for like 10 minutes, just like staring at the center of the Milky Way. It was just like most awe-inspiring moment ever, and I haven't seen it since.
When I go way up north, I'll up there. There's literally like this road, but like no one drives down it really. So you can literally lay in the middle of the road, right? So because it's a clearing, we'll lay in the middle of the road and look at the stars. And you know how your eyes acclimate. You know if it's dark out
Yeah,
and you'll, and it's so clear up there. And then you really get to see like how many satellites. And you used to be able, like on a clear one, you could see the um
ISS.
yeah, you could do the space station because it had the panels and you could see those reflect really easy when it was going by and stuff, plus a whole bunch of other satellites, and you could just watch. It's like, wow, you could just like how much stuff was going on when you were tuned into it.
Yeah, well, to say when I was been in the back garden because I have like apps where I can see the constellations and stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
so like it overlays what you're actually looking at,
Hmm.
and I had like it shows you where like the planets are, the moon,
Oh, yeah,
constellations.
I've seen those. I didn't think about it. Those are cool.
But also you get like Hubble and the ISS. So I'm
Okay.
sitting there, I'm looking up, and I see the ISS, and I'm looking up, and I'm seeing this little white dot just going across. So it's
Yeah.
like, wow, there's people up there. Just like looking down
I
at me,
know that
going,
is a trip. That's because I thought it was like, yeah, there's people up there right now. I was like zipping around. Oh, Overton asked you, Lee, have you ever tried to do those streaky star photos? Really fun to do, seeing the Earth's rotation.
not as yet, because with doing those kind of photographs, it's where you have to have a very long exposure. So you basically just set it up and just let it go. So I haven't tried it. Maybe because I think I can actually do time lapse on my
Oh, I'm
camera.
sure now with that, yeah.
So I might experiment with that now because I haven't even thought about something like that. So
That would be a cool one at a time. Put it up, get a little stand, and like run it for a bit.
yeah, because I've got a little stand I
Overton,
use.
good idea.
So,
Thanks.
oh, that for a second there, I thought it was the dragon out of How You Train Your Dragon. Toothless, that was it. It only takes about 5 minutes to do to see if you can keep it open. Do it. The shutter. Yes. Yeah. Well, I say I'll definitely look into it because obviously I have been posting up more of my sort of nocturnal camera work as well as my day camera work. As I say, it's nothing fancy. I'm just literally just when I'm out and about with my phone.
Oh, it's good. Those are good photos. You don't have to be that humble. They're good.
Well,
No, they are. And I was like, oh,
I'm very lucky.
which
So
you did one, and I'd have to look at it. There was one you were kind of in. I think like the woods kind of, but you were looking through it from a field, and there was a great composition because I was like, oh dude, I want to put a cannon right here. Like it was like the perfect like sniper spot. If you were like, it was like the photo composition was good because like the everything kind of receded towards the left, and it was like this great composition. I was like, oh, I want to draw a Titan coming over the horizon right there, and then
I
put
think
like an
I think I know what
anti-Titan.
you're talking about as well now.
Yeah, that's where it was because you were like in a bush looking out, kind of thing.
But yeah, no, been one of my things where I've like since the innovation of camera phones, I've always bought a phone because of the camera
Yeah, I
mostly.
could absolute good reason to do it because it's always with you.
Yeah, exactly. So like, there's been loads of times when I'm like driving around like for work doing estimates, and sometimes I'll just see something and go, "Whoa, that's cool," and I'll just pull
Yeah.
over and just like on this phone here, I've got about 35,000 photographs on it, which I'm gonna have to increase. I've already got like 2 gig sort of extra storage.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to up that, I think, because
What
it's
like
just like
imagine so way later in like 30 years when everyone's passing away who had all these huge photo collections of iClouds, think of where all like how are they going to do that was one like inheriting someone's Steam account or having getting access to someone's Apple stuff. I don't think so. You can't pass on your like Steam games. So I think that's the way it goes. That like if you can't, just will someone your whole Steam game collection because it's all under your name or whatever type thing. I think
yeah. Well,
that's
that's
one
the
of
thing.
them.
Like, I've got my Steam account. I don't use it. My son uses it.
Yeah,
So because he's obsessed with train simulator games and stuff
yeah,
like that. So I had Steam, so he's used it a hell of a lot more than I ever did. Um, so obviously, yeah, I just basically if he needs a game or
yeah,
something, then
yeah.
just ask me to put it through. But yes, but no, so I enjoy. I think everybody, like everyone in the chat now, you've all probably had moments where you just see something, and it makes you feel like a reaction, an impulse inside, and you just got to say just grab your camera and just and take it because some like even like I was at traffic lights, like sitting in traffic, and I
Oh
looked
yeah,
over
no, there's some good ones
right,
with that, especially on a rainy
the way
day
the
or
sun,
something.
yeah, the way the sun was in the clouds, and I just took a picture of it because it just looked quite beautiful. And yeah, I like to
I I'm
yeah.
biased towards the ones that look like sniper positions for shooting at battle mechs. They'll be like, "This is so nice and serene." I'm like, "Okay, I can slap a Titan right there with a firing position from here."
That's the thing. You're looking for the ultimate kill zone. So yeah, it's but no, say like recently as well, where I've been posting up pictures, like when I've been taking my kids for a walk, sort of thing during
Yeah, yeah,
um, again because like so many people, like so many great hobbyists out there that are sort of like advocates of like mental health
yeah.
and stuff. I'm, I was just putting them up just to say like 10 minutes outside your door could be somewhere as pretty as this, where
Yep.
you just go to sit down and just you know be at one with nature and just enjoy you know the sort of the serenity of the moment there. You're not got loads of like you know loads of noise going off. You can just sit
No.
down, chill, like either on your own or with someone. It's just taking a step back from screens and
Yeah, I
computer.
usually that's in a couple week in probably like 3 weeks. I'm going to be gone. I don't know. I'll miss probably one show because I'll be out in the boonies for maybe like 5 days, 5 or 6 days. So I'm going to be out there, and I usually go and try to get in some good nature time and If like where I stay, you don't even get cell signal, so you're like totally cut off from everything. So you can get it if you go for a drive, but where you actually stay, there's like no, you can't get no calling, no electricity, no nothing.
There was like thing just like with that, where there's no signal. Like the thing that gets me is where you see on places like Facebook or other social media places where they say they show you a picture of like a cabin somewhere. It's quite
Yeah.
picturesque. So, would you stay in here for a month with no internet, no phone, and get $10,000 or whatever at the
Oh
end of
yeah, like a
it?
year.
Yeah. No worries. I'll do that. I'll do that. No problem. Um, get straight out of it, you know. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like you just look at those sort of things and go, everybody would, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah,
get paid ten
it's hard to
thousand
come
dollars
by 10
to live on your
grand.
own. That's a great conversations with yourself. But yeah, no, that's silly.
Yeah, it, and I love walking in what I think I'm a wood snob. Like what kind of woods I'm in matters to me. Like I'm a kind of wood snob. I'm like I want the bigger trees, and I like where I go. It's nice because it's very moist, so you'll get a lot of different mosses and plants, like all kinds of weird stuff going on. And I think when I look at that stuff, it triggers. It's like when I was a kid, I used to imagine them as like little planets. It's like, oh, okay, wait, this is huge moss, and people. So I think that kind of thing still is in my mind. So I just look around at nature, and I'm like, oh, that's like an incredible like sci-fi scene, or that like I love it fall because all the trees are off the leaf, or a lot of the all the fall colors up here are really brilliant. So they'll get a lot of, and you'll get it's the perfect time when just some of the leaves like 10% fell off, but they're all colored, and there's certain spots where the ground will be completely colored and the trees all at the same time, and it's just incredible.
Blood producer. First of all, she goes, "Sign me up," and then next message, though I've watched Cabin in the Woods too many times. But I know over in America you've got like autumn, and people like to go out to like the Hampshires and Vermont
Yeah,
for
they'll do the fancier. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
seeing all those. And my little sister, she went out there. I say little sister, well, younger sister. I shouldn't say she's little. Well, she is my little sister. Her and her wife went out there before after they got married. They spent 3 weeks in like various places around sort of New Hampshire,
Hmm.
Vermont, and right in autumn as well. So it's just like the photographs were just to make because my sister's wife works for Olympus, the
Okay.
cameras.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So she's got all the good shit.
yeah.
And obviously she does that as her job. So it's like loads of like the colours were just amazing.
Oh
So
yeah. And
yeah, no.
there's some nice terrain and stuff up there too.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing. Is like I know like when people are looking at like going away on holiday or something like that, they go, "Oh, let's go here because they've got this and they've got that, and there's like you've got the Grand Canyons and all those sort of things. There's big monuments like all for
Yeah.
nature or man-made sort of thing. But you could just go anywhere. Um, just driving out an hour out of the city into
Absolutely.
somewhere wild and just find something amazing there.
And
Um,
yeah, I'm a big fan. I've been doing that more. See, because I would go up north to that area, I would be. It's a nature snob. So then I would be like, oh, I don't want to go in a park where I could go up there and I'm like, I can walk for miles and not see anyone. Like you won't even come across somebody. You know what I mean? And so then here I'll be like, I'm such an idiot. It would be I'd go to this park, and my whole thing about the pandemic, I'm like, man, this pandemic really ruined the park because now there's more people here. I'd take the dog for a morning walk and be like, yeah, really hard to park. But I get to go to one. What they did is it's a old golf course, that the township or whatever bought up, and then they converted it to a park. But the cart, it had a real nice cart path, so they kept the cart path. So then you just walk this nice, path, and they cut the grass on both sides, but then the rest is like wild and stuff. And so it's a good place to walk the dog and stuff.
It was a couple of weeks ago. There
I
was
agree, Gordon Medusa.
it was an American responding to, or something that an American Twitter person had posted about. If you're ever speaking to an English person and you mention about a goose or a swan, the
Yeah.
first thing an English person will say to them is, "They can break your arm," right? As a word of warning.
Yeah.
And I replied to the comment was that basically said, "Yeah, we know what geese and swans are like. We've
Yeah.
lived it. We have to warn our American cousins who may not be aware
And they will.
of
I've been bitten by a goose.
these." And I said, it's also like in the fact that whenever you have a sort of Americans over here, we'll warn you about the geese and the swans, but we'll also say to you, don't stray from the path, because we've seen American Werewolf in London. So we're thinking of you when we warn you, your health and safety. We live here. But turkeys, as Crimson saying as well. Turkeys.
Turkeys. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But but it was just when you were saying about those well made manicured sort of golf cart lanes and like a
Yeah.
walk along, just instantly just reminded me of don't stray from the path.
Straight from the path.
Which is the third time I've said that today, because my friend Brian, who he mentioned earlier on Facebook that London, I am in you. I'm just like, I said, don't stray from the path, don't do it. But yeah, bless him. Oh dear.
Oh, Black Wolf, thanks for making it. This one's your mini. We're trying. I'm trying. I don't even know how long have we been. 42 minutes. I don't know if I'm getting anything done. I get all distracted. I get happy telling stories, talking with Lee. I can't work under those conditions.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to sort of help. But
This is why
we're just
I get to vent about Crimson the other day. We just chatted in Discord. We'll sit in the lounge sometimes, and I haven't chatted to him for a while. And I was like, yeah. And it was funny. We were supposed to have a conversation. I think I like railroaded it completely. All I did was like, should be working on this, and I should be working on that. And it was like a half-hour diatribe about Artist Empire that I listened to. So thanks, Crimson.
it was just there to help you
Yeah,
unload.
I felt bad. I'm like, I was like, man, I don't even think you said like 20 words.
And I've done similar when it's normally when talking about 40K or something, and that's it. It's like if somebody's willing to stand there and just listen to me, I would
Yeah.
um, Oviton, Lee's super villain power, distracting artists. Oh,
I think I got this.
this Crimson's going on because he mentioned earlier, I believe, that he had some June news. Sadly, June is in parts. We will see the death of Leto and Fade to Black. Oh, because I think it's like June news. Sorry, we haven't got like a little thing we can play for.
You're right. That's exactly the type of thing I was talking to King Crimson about in my diatribe. Was I need to give it on the ball with that type of stuff. We'd have Dune news tickers. I don't have any of those tickers, so yeah. Consider this a Dune news ticker, even though it's not.
But yeah, no, yeah, it's, yes, you are correct. June Part 1, because you can't just get Dune into one book, one film sort of thing. It's too big for that. The so yeah, they haven't green lit Part 2, but with all the because they had a preview for like the film reviewers and all that in Italy last week, and as
Oh,
far
okay.
as everybody is like going, "Oh my god, this is just so engaging, amazing,
Oh, so
such
it
a
did get good feedback from that?
very good feedback in most cases." Now, there has also been there's one thing that sort of irked me a little bit was you're getting loads of people trying to get popularity or whatever from June by having
Oh,
clickbait
yeah.
articles. Um, because there was one that I read the other day, which was going on about um, like Paul Atreides, like the white savior, and this, that, and the other, colonialism, and stuff like
Oh, I didn't even think of, yeah, I
that.
didn't
I
even
read,
think about that. Are
it,
they saying, okay.
to be fair, it's a very well worded, piece that they've put on there. This blog thing, but it just showed that they haven't actually read the books or the first three books because the first three are all part of a trilogy. Then you have God Emperor Dune, which is a connecting book, and then the last books were meant to be another trilogy, although they ended up being a quad trilogy,
Yeah.
quadron. Um, but the whole point of Dune, yes, like the first book, you've got you know Paul Atreides, um, and some things go wrong for his family, sort of thing. It's basically them surviving, and they're saying about like colonialism because they go to June, right? Well, no, because they weren't going there to take over um, the people or anything. Like the Atreides were going there to actually what they wanted to become allies with the indigenous people. They weren't going to go over there to rule them. They wanted to be a partnership with them,
See, I
sort of
don't
thing.
even know. Okay, wait. Am I even didn't like at the end? Okay, let's go by the Dune movie that already came out. In
Yeah,
the end, wouldn't you say the Fremen won?
yeah. Well, that was the thing. There's so much more to the
Yeah,
whole.
but I mean, even in that, I'm like, okay, well, the like, I think that was my takeaway. I think even when younger, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't think of it as indigenous, but I was like, okay, yeah, the people who this is their own home turf and it is their place. It was cool to see. I'm like, okay, and that was one small segment of the story. So I'm sure there's a lot more to it.
Well, yeah, because the whole premise is like with the Fremen, they originate from the Zensuni tribes that were wanderers across the galaxy for many thousands of years, and they settled on Dune. Um, but the Bene Gesserit had basically been seeding the Messiah sort of
Yeah, all
predictions
over the
or
place.
within cultures for thousands of years. So when Paul and his mum turned up, they fit the profile because it was a person from another world and they had a Bene Gesserit mother, sort of
Yeah.
thing. They're just like the Fremen just went, oh, it's that prophecy, sort of thing. The Atreides, after being, led to a trap and betrayed and everything, Paul and Jessica utilize the fact that they've been seeded with this prediction, sort of thing, this whole religious thing about this person, to try and save their own skins. So, and it's just interesting that he also just happens to be the Kwisatz Haderach. So, that was just purely coincidental. Um, Duke Leto sent Duncan ahead before the Atreides transferred over because they were given basically, the job of maintaining the spice production. So they
Yeah.
weren't there to colonize; they were there to basically take over from the Harkonnens and keep the wheels rolling on that side of things. So it was a business thing. But Leto saw something in the Fremen, and that he thought these people could be somebody that we could ally with to solidify our sort of ourselves and work with them to make things better for us, yes, but they weren't going there to sort of take them over and rule with an iron fist. That was the Harkonnens. So they were, they are technically good guys. Where they also say about their, the white savior type thing, the Atreides of Mediterranean descent, and a lot of Mediterraneans don't consider themselves white and they don't consider themselves black. They are basically another sort of like ethnicity as such. So it's loads of people just putting these things out there just to get clickbait and stuff like that.
Well,
And
yeah, I mean, some would do it just for that reason.
yeah, but it's like if you know, and obviously the whole thing about the books is that yes, June. Everyone likes the Dune because of what happens, the story, the backdrop, the betrayals, the victories, and all that sort of stuff. But over the course of that first trilogy, what Frank Herbert was doing was showing you, or showing us, like the dangers of the cult of personality, listening to that person, and what happens. Because in the next books, there's a massive jihad going on where the Fremen are going around the galaxy killing billions of people. 62 billion people
Yeah, see
died.
now I'm all curious about that. Like I never
Yeah.
like I'm that's one thing I'm gonna have to catch up on is I want to see the the Fremen Victory Tour books.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we went to this place and we just absolutely obliterated it. But yeah, it was more of a warning. So basically, it's not only like ecological based storytelling about, like, obviously, dunes and stuff, big worms. It was also about obviously the dangers of popular people and getting into power and the things that they do. So
So
yeah,
that's what I'm curious because like is it I'll have to find out like is it kind of a tale of like okay these people come from this and then they arc all the way till they're like the baddies running around killing everybody?
well, they're not necessarily the bad guys. So the problem is, because the whole Kwisatz Haderach thing is
Yeah.
that um, Paul can see the future and he can see everything all at once at the same time,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah.
And what he's doing, because this is where 40k comes in and nicks from Dune, this particular thing, is that Paul, there is only sort of one path that humanity can follow so that they don't destroy themselves.
Yeah.
And Paul doesn't commit to that path because it's just too much. He just can't, he can't commit to it because it's just too much for him, sort of thing. Whereas his son, Leto II, when he was born, and his sister Ganima, they were raised as Fremen. And
Yeah,
Fremen are
yeah,
very
yeah.
pragmatic people. And Leto basically was he was more prescient and more powerful than Paul, basically. But he saw what they called a golden path. That basically either side there was like such narrow margins, and he did something that would basically prolong his life for a very long time, and he guided humanity down this very narrow path. And unfortunately, they had to do a lot of killing.
Well, I mean, yeah, they like I never even thought I don't think of they always like some people are like oh the good guys are bad guys like oh half of it in any big thing like that any big real story you're not going to have like these pure good dudes you know what I mean in any kind of like empire type long thing you're going to have history of all kinds of stuff going on through generations
Well,
so
that's the thing. It's like Leto II. He knew that he would be looked back upon as and called the tyrant because of what he did in order. Like, he didn't explain his reasonings or whatever. He did what he needed to do in order to keep humanity in that Goldilocks zone, sort of thing, before they would destroy themselves, so they can actually progress and evolve, and so on and so forth. But in the later books, you see there's some revelations in there, and like people just like, well, this was one person in particular, just like, oh my god, you know, quite literally, um, because as they look back at what he did, what he done, and everything, and it's just um, like God Emperor Dune, which is quite a hefty read. It's actually like one of my favourite books because it's the joining one between the first three
Yeah.
books and the next three books, and I actually like the last two books as well because they are so different, but it's the results of what he was doing in the fourth book. Um, but yeah, it's just Crimson knows about the super suit. Yes, his special super suit, which we will not mention Crimson of what the super suit actually does or what it is or whatever. Yeah, if you've reading June, the book itself is like you can read it on its own and it's a good story. It's got a good ending to it. It goes then on to basically deconstruct Muad'Dib and takes things to the next level in the third book, which is the June Children of June, which is focusing on Leto and Ginima with their things, and then it jumps 3,500 years to God Emperor June, and then after that is about 1,500 years to Heretics of June, and
Oh, I
then
didn't know it jumps that far. That's pretty crazy.
well, that's the thing. Everyone like because of David Lynch's film, everyone thinks that when it says you had at the start when you have Irulan going, the year is 10,991 sort of thing, and the galaxy is ruled by the Padishah Emperor. That timestamp is basically not AD, it's BG. So that was almost 11,000 years after the creation of the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
About 10,000 years after where we are now.
Oh wow, I didn't know he lives. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, the whole Dune experience covers around about 30,000 years, which I only recently realised through watching and listening to blogs and stuff.
Learn something
So
new
yeah,
every day.
crazy ass long, but it is so much more than just obviously the one book. It's just an epic continuation of the story.
Yeah, I'll be curious. So October is when it's supposed to come.
Well, I don't know because originally it was November, but apparently in some countries it's out sooner than others.
Mm.
So
Oh yeah, they do that. I forgot all about
yeah,
that.
which is silly because I even I think although I've even heard of September for like some European countries,
Yeah.
not the UK. um, but yeah, it's all crazy, crazy, crazy. And have you seen the new Matrix stuff?
Oh yes, I did. I did watch. I only saw it once, but I'm
With the
actually
blue-
going to watch it again later.
Did you press on the red or the blue pill?
Um. Oh, I don't even remember. I probably didn't press. Dude, I'm so like I'm not jaded in a way, but anytime they do some relaunch or whatever, my first like, well, like it was the same as Dune. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll wait till like I just have no expectations of it. So they said Matrix. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, you're gonna try to do something. Good luck. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's like this is the studio like really aching for money or did they actually have a good idea again like they wanted to like do it or was it like a cash thing and then are they going to try too hard or whatever. So I'll I watched that. I think it was from what I saw kind of cool. I was like, all right, I can, but who knows where it's going to go.
So the thing is, what you got to do is find the one where you have the white screen with the red pill and the blue pill,
Okay,
and when
I
you
will.
press one of them, like if you're on your phone and you're doing
Mm-hmm.
it, press all right, press the red one, right,
Yeah.
and then listen to as they start talking, and look at the time on your clock on your phone,
Oh, interesting.
because every time you press it, the current time comes up.
Yeah, interesting.
It's just like, whoa. So I think that on itself. But then if you press the blue one, you get something different.
Huh. They are really trying some stuff out there now. It's kind of
It's the
cool.
Matrix. We're all in the Matrix. Yeah, Black Wolf just saying it's like, the Matrix trailer, because you get two different trailers. So you get Keanu Reeves doing the red pill, you get someone else doing the blue pill, and they show different things.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta check it out then because I didn't see both.
Yeah,
That's
it
why I
just
like
freak.
being. That's why I like being a fly by night fan of stuff because then everything's always like new. I'm like, it'll be like something that happened 3 years ago. They'd be like, dude, this happened. I'm like, really?
Why? Why did that happen? Why?
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
all
it's just
new.
crazy stuff.
Oh, that's kind of cool. We can do a little lightning on here. All right, so I gotta
This is
do.
one you was working on last week as well, wasn't it?
No, this is one someone submitted last week, and I wanted to try something on it because I don't know. A lot of these scare me this week. And so there's not like a whole lot. It's already lit and has this beautiful scene, but I just wanted to get like a little bit of the like blur the edges and give them a little motion and get some type of I don't know. It's like almost like their hammers were charging up before like they strike. Like as they get more charged up as they're about to hit something. So like as you swing it and are building momentum to hit, they would like charge up. So I kind of was thinking of something along those lines, but the lighting starts you start lighting too much stuff and then it gets away from the beautiful photograph, so we'll see.
Yeah, you just say you want to sort of give that little bit of sparkle.
Yeah, I just wanted to get some of that like they're charging up type thing and
Yeah.
not overdo it on the photo.
No, but it was a glorious bunch of was it the
Yeah, this is incredible photo
iOS?
book.
It's, no, I can't remember then because I keep on calling them Sigmarines.
No, the stormcast,
Yeah, that's it, Stormcast. Yeah,
as they're like charging into the goblins or the goblins are charging into them. A great use of like those are the little goblins. Like they're just the lighting and everything is really good in this.
mm.
It really captures a scene.
It really brings it home to you just how big those hammers are.
I know.
Crunch on the little gobos.
You're getting smacked with one of those.
Yeah,
You need some serious magical strength to swing that with any like efficiency or like you just swing a so and just like step away. You're like, like here, I'm just gonna step away from that.
step back. I've got this. Also, those hammers remind me of. I've been talking a lot recently with friends about Destiny, the game,
Yeah.
because I play a Titan. I've always played a Titan. I play nothing else but a Titan. But I love the solar powers where you've got basically when you're supercharged and you just go around fluzzing fiery hammers to twat everything.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love that because that and the arc power where you basically just like jump in and a huge sort of like um, well he's basically four as
Yeah.
you hit
Yeah.
four, electricity just boom and you just like razzle everyone.
We're painting big hammers over here.
uh, a blood producer just went to get a snack and come back to Lee talking about big hammers. Yeah, well, it's normally axes. I have a thing for axes. Well, I've watched other people playing like games on Twitch and stuff like that, and I'm always like going, "Oh, there's not enough axes in this
Not
game."
enough good axes. Someone needs to get
Yeah,
hit with an
we need
axe.
more action, as we call it. Yeah, you get into a situation against zombies, you want an axe. If you're trying to break in somewhere,
Yeah,
you need an
see,
axe.
everyone has these like zombie movies and they're all like horror movies and everything. I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe I'm a degree of a psychopath, but I'm like, okay, if it's a zombie apocalypse, dude, this is like cakewalk, dude. You put on some chainmail and you go get one of those like the little Bobcat loaders and you just go around and like grab a bunch of stuff and chill, dude. Like,
It, you say that one of the finest, although it's technically not a zombie movie as such, but 28 Days Later,
yeah,
you have the cabbie taxi driver who lives in a tower block, and
yeah.
he's going around wearing like cricket pads, where
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
they can't get their teeth onto you, or
Yeah, because
scratch you.
that's I'm like, dude, I just put chainmail on and be like, let's do this. Like then I'm like, all right, we're good there.
Yeah, and it's like that's the thing is everybody has their plan for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Everyone has thought about what
So
they would do.
all I'm saying is happy zombie apocalypse movies are not produced enough or underrepresented because they gotta be like, hey, sometimes like the zombie apocalypse ain't that bad. Like, it's really not, someone's gonna be like, dude, I got a lot less problems today than I did yesterday. Like now I gotta like you don't
Zombieland.
feel bad. Like you wouldn't feel bad shooting a zombie. I'm like, okay, man, it's not like human anymore, so I had to shoot it, whatever. So then I just would be like, all right, I don't think it'd be all that bad.
Black Wolf's he's not played Destiny for a while, but he loved playing the Warlock. That's the thing. We all have our own little sort of things. Me, like as I've been saying a lot to a lot of people and a lot of like chat groups and stuff recently, is that I am of the Leroy Jenkins school of where I will just basically play the tank in this situation with a Titan, and then just go running into a room and cause as much mayhem as possible. I might die, I might not, but you know, I'm a weapon of mass destruction. I'll just go in there, just going ah, just throwing hammers of fire, um, or what's it? Mass Effect 3. When that came out, I didn't actually do the campaign for about a year. I just
Yeah.
played the online element for a year straight. You know, every night on the net playing that. And there was one class they had which was an N7 destroyer, and basically I did that one. He looked mean as anything. Give him like a really good like machine gun, and I would just lay down a withering hail of fire and fire missiles at people, and just absolutely sort of like suppress the living crap out of people, whilst my team went round and just picked up.
Overton. Overton, that's a good one. Leroy.
Leroy But yeah, he's it's I was doing that before he became viral. It might be a Lee thing. I don't know.
I wonder how old is that meme now or whatever.
Oh, it was World of Warcraft. So however long World of Warcraft's
Yeah,
been.
that's been World of Warcraft's still going on. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like that and Eve Online. I played Eve
Yeah,
Online.
yeah. I never played, but I was always kind of fascinated with it. But I was like, dude, I don't have a whole life to dedicate to it like I want
But
to.
that's the thing about it. There's if anybody in the chat, if you ever want to really hear something that's just completely crazy and bonkers, yet very impressive at the same time, it's the story of Steve the Dreadnought. So, again, sorry, not Steve the Dreadnought, Steve the Titan, because the developers said, like, we are going to develop this super duper class of ship, and it's going to be called a Titan. And it it was like you need so many like hours of like
Yeah,
research,
yeah,
development, materials, and all this sort of stuff. And there was this one clan or corporation or whatever they're set up in,
yeah,
and they basically dedicated their entire corporation
yeah.
into doing this. Like, so you had like the head bods of it, and then they would divvy out jobs to other people, and they would
Oh,
divvy out.
yeah. It's a regular organization. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took them 6 months, right? And like the developers didn't think it would take somebody that quick to actually get
Yeah,
the stuff
yeah.
together. But they organised themselves so well that they managed to get everything in place within 6 months. And as I say, the developers weren't even ready for it. When they
No,
said,
no.
"We've got it all, we want our Titan," they weren't ready. So when the time for this thing to actually happen, all the corporation people were like, "Oh, this is where it's going to happen. This is like," and they go to some star base, and apparently the doors were going to open up, and this ship would sail out, and everyone would go, "Whoa!" At
Yeah.
the amazing sight of this, the biggest game ever.
Shippy
I mean,
McShip
yeah,
face.
yeah,
Shippy McShip face.
basically, yeah, right. And they're all there, and nothing happened. So like they start going, well, the count has counted down. There should be something here. So they got onto the people that run the servers and everything and all that thing. And then, oh yeah, don't worry, leave it with us. We'll sort it out. There's a little glitch and all that. And then they said, right, okay, it should be ready in a moment. And basically, they're all sitting there waiting for these doors to open and like big fanfare. But then the ship just appeared. Just whoop, there it is. Oh, okay, there was no fanfare, no grandeur, and there was this one ship sitting there. But and I say it was like the Death Star, basically. This ship, this
Yeah.
Titan. But so all these many thousands of hours of everyone's individual effort to make this thing,
Yeah.
decide on a name, so they just called it Steve. Steve the Titan. Now, one person had control of Steve the Titan, and ordinarily in Eve, because it's such a massive game,
Oh yeah,
what
you gotta have a whole yeah.
yeah, you have all your bases and stuff and or whatever. But what he did was basically he would take it to a deserted part of the galaxy, and then like it would log out. The ship
Yeah.
just sits sort of thing in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, by sheer fluke, somebody was just flying around doing like mining or
Yeah. Oh god, and found it.
trying to find something, and he's found this Titan sitting there. So he's gone, oh, is that Titan? So he's told loads of people the exact location where this Titan was, and all these rival corporations have just basically just gone, everyone assemble, and all these fleets have just turned
Yeah.
up and started pulverizing the crap out of this thing. And literally, the person wasn't aware that it was being attacked because obviously it might have been happening, he might have been asleep, but he's
Oh yeah.
come online with all these messages saying Steve's been attacked, Steve's been attacked, and he logs in just to see, just as the last few hit points were going, and then
Yeah.
and it's just like how devastating that would have been.
Oh god.
Sheer
Yeah.
sheer sheer puke, sheer luck that this guy was just scanning around and found it, and then just told everybody like on all the chat forums, and he just absolutely got obliterated. If he had logged in, say, like 5 minutes earlier,
Yeah.
he could have basically maybe tried to escape, or he could have fought back, and that
Yeah.
might have made a huge difference. But he just logs in, gains control just as like the last hit points were being zapped from him, and it's just gone poof.
I know that's something. Those games, a lot goes on. Something like Destiny. Or, I mean,
Oh,
not on Eve. Because it has such a huge, like, decade-long tapestry of intrigue.
yeah, and it's like the in-game money and all that sort of thing. It actually has an out-game
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people can like buy accounts that have been running, and like you've got all this
Hmm.
stuff. People will just buy it. It's just like
Yeah.
they had a massive battle a couple of years back, which was like the largest online battle, and they basically estimated the cost for being like
Yeah.
hundreds
With all the
of
ships lost and everything. Yeah.
yeah, like and like the hours spent doing it.
That's why
It's,
my parents need to be independently wealthy, so I can have some squandered, easy. Even now, I would still be playing. I would just be a spoiled brat sitting and playing Eve and spending my parents' money on outrageous ships, dude. That's what I'd be doing
yeah, no,
instead.
that's an awesome game.
It would
But
be
it's
because you need to because you know how it is if you get into something like that. It's like okay, everyone's gonna be, and that you're literally like running a business with other people. It's like it's you know what I mean. It's like a basically a job in there if you're like really trying to accomplish something.
it's just that sort of gameplay is just way too involved for my liking.
Yeah,
I'm a casual gamer. I'll go
yeah,
in. I don't get to play the Xbox or PC as much as I would like to. I'm too busy painting Titans.
yeah.
Um,
I've
but
been
it's crazy.
I've been playing a little more. Even today, I what I did is what do they have? I reloaded up Call of Duty. I haven't played it. I had what is the last one I got? I got one a couple years ago, the Modern Warfare, or maybe a year ago, and I didn't play it much. And I loaded it up now, and I've played some. And I played. I worked this morning, and then I had lunch. And I was like, all right, let me play like a half hour, and it was good. It doesn't take too long to load, and then there's some good fast paced like. I'll play what I play. I think I played 2 or 3 games, and it's good for like refreshing my brain. My brain needs it because I totally just focus on that. You're trying to shoot stuff, you're trying to do this, and I find that is kind of good for me. I was like, dude, I'll do it at lunch and then do that for it was 20 minutes or whatever, and it felt good to get like play some games to shoot some avatars, and then it was like kind of like a good little recharge for me. I think so. I might play some now and then.
Yeah, no. I'm going to put this out to everybody in the chat in case, like, I'm assuming a lot of people in the chat have played like Modern Warfare when it first came out.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I'm still sort of semi-traumatized by Modern Warfare, purely for when you're playing as the US Ranger character, and you're in some sort of Middle Eastern country. Suddenly, SEAL Team 6 has found a suspicious nuclear package, and we've got to evac. Everyone evac. Everyone evac. And as you're evacuating, jumping on the Chinook, you're
Yeah.
flying out. Suddenly, the screen goes white, and you start, no,
Uh,
and you're like, oh my god, I'm dead. And then you do an SAS mission with Soap and Captain Price, and the next minute you're in the Chinook, and you're going, I'm alive. Everything's red, but I'm alive. And you start crawling, getting out of the
the
Chinook,
vision, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember the
you're
wobble.
stumbling, and I'm thinking, right, okay, we got to, get somewhere, and someone's going to turn up in a jeep. We'll climb in and drive us out. Oh no, you'll spend 5 minutes stumbling around, like you can't pick anything up, and I'm thinking, I need a weapon, I need to survive,
Yeah.
and around, and then suddenly another nuke goes off, and it's like, what's wrong with these people?
Why is everyone nuking everyone?
Yeah, why are we all being nuked? What have I done to you? But yeah, that's severely that, and I think it was the second one where you have Price versus General Franklin. I think he was
I don't
with
remember.
the knife. Where
I always ended
he
up
has
a
hope.
lot of them. I wouldn't end up playing. I would just jump in multiplayer, so I didn't even end up playing the campaign on a few of
Oh,
them. I would just go in, and a couple of them I played because they had some great campaign moments. But I always ended up going in multiplayer, and I was like, and the other thing, people used to hate me because and I never even got this one. I wouldn't level. They would prestige, and I would never prestige. I'm like, it doesn't give me any guns or it doesn't give me anything to kill you with faster, so I don't even want to bother with it. Because you'd prestige and then it'd reset a lot of your stuff,
yeah,
and so I would
yeah,
never prestige. They'd be like, "You never prestige," and like, especially if you played good, they would be like, "You like." I don't even know what the bad thing was for not prestiging, but they would like hate on that, and I'd laugh.
yeah. I think he was like that sort of like unwritten rule that also, oh, you got prestige, and like,
Yeah. Oh, see, I never did. I would be like,
yeah, I never prestige. I prestiged once on Titan Death,
I think there
but
was.
pressure.
I think I did. I prestiged on one of them because it opened up a slot.
Mm.
I remember that I
Oh yeah.
played. So they did one where it was like, okay, I was like, all right, I'll open up a slot because I needed it.
Mm.
And I
But
think
no,
the early ones I used to just not prestige.
I'm with you on that. I don't. Once you've it takes a long time to get up to that sort of high
Yeah,
level.
yeah, like to get the
You don't want to
setup
let
you
go of
want. Yeah.
Well, I was a blood producer. I'm afraid I haven't played anything more than Pokemon, Breath of the Wild, and Animal Crossing.
Hey,
Well,
there's
they
nothing
are the
wrong
most
with that.
bloodthirsty games out there. You know, that Animal Crossing, my God, that is like brutality deluxe. Um, it's like I played Pokemon Go, right? It's I think it's been about 5 years since it came out, and I've been on it again recently. I'm going, no, I cannot go down that rabbit hole again. It's just, I was like, I'm sure that I'd done myself injuries with the amount of walking I was doing, trying to hatch eggs, um, and also sinking money into it as well. Because obviously you want to buy those extra bits, or you need to buy some balls or whatever. What was it, Black Wolf? Always found for me and my friends that Halo 3 multiplayer was a lot more fun than COD. Played with a
See,
lot of you.
I played Halo 1 and 2. I didn't play much 3, but I played 1 and 2 a lot, especially 1. Um,
Halo 3 was really good. My favourite is Halo Reach, which was like the
yeah, I could
prequel.
say that was they had some good stuff going on in there. My friends, I played kind of where my friends went, and they went more towards duty. Halo, what was surprising is about a year ago, I picked it up just to see it again, and I didn't play much, maybe I don't know, 20, 30 games or something. But they I thought the fifth one was really good. But if I don't really know anyone who like play, I kind of don't play. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'd rather like if it's a friend who was gonna hop in, I'm more like that. Like, hey, if my friend's gonna play a video game, like, yeah, I'll play a game with you and then do it. But so I don't really. And what's funny is I'm like, I'm trying to play more. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to play more, get some more games. It's like play a little something here and there because I did know. I'm like, I wanted to get ready for like some winter stuff. I'm like, all right, you can play a few more games in the winter. And I was like, what if I was like, maybe I'll start an Artist Empire on Twitch, but get a Xbox account named Artist Empire and then stream that on Twitch for some video game streams.
Mm. Yeah, no. So I've like the whole thing with Destiny is that I've had a few like friends because it's now cross play, so you can play
Yeah, yeah.
PS4s or fives and PC, so it's all cross compatible now. So I've had a few people saying like, "Hey, we can play now," but it's tying in
Oh,
to
good to know
to
you
be.
have an Xbox, though. Maybe one day we'll have to play something, dude. We'll have to arrange a game
I
session one
like
day.
some of the games I play. Well, Destiny, No Man's Sky, I play, which I like
I
those
could
sort of
probably
space.
get Dust. I know No Man's Sky. I think I've looked at that before. It's pretty cool.
It's
Like the
surprised.
wandering one with all the cool scenery and stuff, right? The different planets.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's basically it's in some ways it's a bit cartoony at times because
Well,
it's not
yeah,
as like
yeah,
it's no hero or anything like that, but it's just the expanse and what you can
yeah. You
do
can
within
still
it.
have a good feel for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big sandbox, and there's so much like different variations and stuff. Um, But the other game I was playing a lot of in the last few years, like apart from Minecraft, of course, because everybody does Minecraft at one stage. Um, but it's Sea of Thieves, which is pirates.
Oh, oh, I played that. Okay, that the the sailing around, the lighting and everything is absolutely one of my top all-time favorite visual games, bar none, dude. I thought that was incredible. What drives me insane, and I played that one, is when you get close enough and people are boarding your ship and the hand-to-hand combat is the worst thing ever. I was like, the way it should happen is you should, if you both get killed, your ship should be sank and then you respawn elsewhere and sail back in, because as soon as you get in a weird fight there, you can't really fight because it's this awkward thing going on, and it ruins the cannonball fights. I would still be playing right now and getting in cannonball fights if you could, if it was like that with a crew. But once the boarding starts, the hand-to-hand combat's too wonky for me. But that sea stuff is incredible. I love shooting the
It-
cannon and sailing, and it is amazing.
It's just such a great little sort of game. And my friend Christy, now he's been playing it ever since its release, and He's a really good gamer, but he
Yeah.
has this evil streak about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He will,
Like him already.
for instance, like he played GTA 5 for years, right?
Yeah.
And he would go join a group of people doing missions, sort of thing.
Yep.
And they would do the mission, and then it was like there was this one where they basically had to get the security van with the money in it and then drive it back
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
All you got to do is park it up, right?
Yeah.
But he would do that, but he would basically blow the van up just before they get into the bit where they get the things.
Yeah.
And he'll be sitting there laughing his ass off, and like this is how our friendship began, actually, because I actually I actually lived with him, so I met him through Xbox, and we used to play this game called Shadowrun, which was like a capture the flag type thing.
Yeah.
Or deathmatch sort of thing. And our team were losing. It was the best out of 6. First team to get to 6 wins, sort of thing. So you could have up to 11 games, sort of thing. And what you could do each round, you earn so much money. So if you won, you got more money. If you lost, you lose your equipment, but then you got to buy it again. But you earn money still. Now, after the first sort of 2 rounds, I was set. I'd get what I wanted, the powers that I wanted, because you could have cybernetic stuff and magical stuff. And I was a bit of a healer type dude. So after the first 2 rounds, I was just accumulating money, and I just called myself the Bank of Lee. So we're losing badly, and Christy goes to me, "Oh, has anyone?" Well, he goes to everyone in the team. "Has anyone got any money? I'm going to buy a rocket launcher. That will probably help us," sort of thing. So I went, yeah, loads of money. Here you go, bang, 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 because you could transfer your money over.
Yeah.
So I went, yeah, and I'm looking at his avatar, and then suddenly missile launcher appears on his shoulder. I thought, that's it, we're going to kick ass now. And then he turned around and shot me in the face. I'm like going, oh my God. And all I'm hearing is him laughing his arse off. And I'm just going, I don't know which is worse, the fact that you killed me or the fact that I paid you to. But,
the joys of video games.
And then eventually we ended up living together for like 10 years.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All from getting shot with a rocket launcher.
Yeah. But when we first actually met physically, with a group of us from our sort of our clan, we all happened to be in London at the same time, sort of thing. And we've gone down there, and they've the 3 of them, Christy, Nigel, and Dan, had all met up already, and I was coming in late, sort of thing. And I said, "Well, we'll meet at this pub." And I was there, and they were walking up from another pub to come there. And I was looking out for these 3 guys that I knew. One was tall and bald, one was medium-sized, young, and the other one was shorter and dumpier. And I've seen them, and I've swooped around behind them and joined in their conversation as they're talking and all that. And I've gone, "Oh, yeah." And they've turned around recognising my voice because they've never seen me before. And I've gone like, "Nigel, nice to meet you." Shook his hand, gave him a hug. Dan, nice to meet you too. Shook his hand, gave him a hug. Christy, and he's come over to hug us, and I've just punched him. And he's gone, "What would you do that?" I said, "So you would never forget meeting me." And he never has.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's funny when I'm watching him play and doing all this horrible stuff to people. But if I was in there,
I'd be like, I ain't playing with him no more.
Yeah. But even like in the days of like playing games, and like there was, like when you have laggy games, the connection's not. He shot somebody, right? He was aiming at someone else. He's fired. It's lagged, and like the positions have changed. So the person he shot at is no longer there, and yet the person who was charging after the target is now in the way of the bullet and caught the bullet and died. And he's gone absolutely mental at him. "Oh, you tinky bastard!" Rah, rah, rah. And I wasn't aiming at you. I just wasn't aiming at you. Maybe just that little lag where like suddenly,
Yeah,
woo!
I've seen it where you jump forward and you're like, ding.
Yeah, no, it's such fun times.
The good old days.
The good old days. I said some of the like, team killing, the great betrayals. But it's always everybody has these little stories from like their little gaming groups and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's like it's just always fun to hear them,
Well, they all
especially like
hated me because I was like, I would, I ended up being generally pretty good at a lot of like, especially first person shooters, but like looting. I was a person who I'm like, if that loot crate pops, I'm the guy right there fighting for it instantly. That moment, like I'm gonna grab all because it's like the ultra competitive feast. And what was funny is I play with my friends and they would hit me like, "You always get all the loot when you do it." I'm like, "Hey, you gotta," but it would pay off when you would play against other people in a game and you were with your friends and you all needed loot because they all knew you better be looting.
yeah,
You
I've
better
been
be
looting.
grabbing that stuff because the other teams will be grabbing it and you're not getting squat and you've been trained.
I think I've mentioned this before about in Skyrim.
Yep.
Uh, a friend of mine, I say it's not my friend, it's Christy. So you know how this story's going to go. Um, the other thing he does is he's very determined as well to do things.
Yeah.
And in Skyrim, have you played Skyrim or?
Uh, Briefly, so I know of it, yes, but I have
Right.
played.
So you have there's like major towns scattered around
Yep.
the map. Now there's one town called Riften, and Riften is where you would find the Thieves Guild. So if you're looking for the Thieves Guild, they're in Riften. You'll find them by looking around. Christie went to Riften and stole everything. He systematically went round everywhere he could physically get into in
And
game,
stole everything.
stole it, and then took it home with him, which was on the other side of the map. And the thing is, when you're over encumbered, as you would be when you're taking an entire town's merchandise, even the Thieves Guild, he stole everything out of the Thieves Guild's headquarters. He stacked it all in this barrel, went out, stole more, put it back in the barrel, and then he's emptied the barrel and basically walked the entire map because Riften's down the bottom here, and
Yeah.
where he was on the far side, opposite side of it, and he's literally just walked. It took him hours in game to walk with everything from Riften in his backpack.
We were talking, I recently saw a friend of mine I haven't seen in forever, and we were talking about um playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle when it came out in the box set, right?
Mm.
So the big box set when that one came out. And I had to ask him, I'm like, okay, I'm like, you remember that game? And of course he did. I mean, not to remember the game, but I'm like, when we played it, didn't that version of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, all it seemed like is a total crapshoot as far as like, there'd be like some weird, it was like, almost like Blood Bowl, but on crack. So like you just get a roll and like there was no like there wasn't a lot of strategy or tactics. It was all like, is this thing gonna misfire or is this thing gonna hit? And if like you hit, you'd wipe out like a whole squad of troops, and then it would be like, oh hey, the battle's basically over then. It was so like to me that combat was very like haphazard and some of it might have been fun, but it wasn't like a that's why I always laughed at the concept when they're like they would play competitively, which I get because in some ways it's a great game to play competitive. But I'm like, don't try to balance that. Like, if you're thinking you're gonna balance whatever I was just playing, you're like, we're on different planets because that was. And I was like, I was curious now, and that was. I mean, what was that, 20, 30 years ago? So I was kind of curious. I know they made a lot of like streamline changes to the games and that. So I'm kind of curious to play some of it now.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like certain games, like obviously they've refined the rules over the course of
Yeah,
the.
you'd have to at that because I just remember that. I'm like, man, those were just like crazy. Anything like there wasn't really a lot of like tactical play out. It was more like, could you get your one shot special item to go off at the right time and place? You know what I mean? It was kind of like a lot of that to me.
Well, it's like with 40k, like the things where like melter guns in 40k,
Yeah.
one shot, and when you really need it to hit, you
Yeah.
don't. Or if you say the fateful words, all I need is
Yeah.
anything but a.
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
As soon as somebody says that, you're rolling a one. There's no,
Yeah.
there is
All I need
no
is anything but a one.
anything but one. Oh, Jesus, no. Um, but yeah, he's just like, these little sort of idiosyncrasies with the game. But I say, like, with going back to my favourite game, which is Titanicus, even if you completely fudge up
Yeah.
something, or if you blow up, you still have a fun time. It's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Sitting there just watching your army just disintegrate before you. You go, wow, I really did fuck up there.
Yeah. That didn't go.
Yeah, see, Black Wolf knows anything but a one. Yeah, it was actually a couple of years ago. There was Wade. What was it, Wade? Yeah, well, I think Wade and Nick were playing on Warhammer TV,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is back when Roblin used to be host of the things,
Gotcha.
and they were trying out Gulliman for the first time. Gulliman had just been released in 8th edition,
Yeah.
and they were basically letting him go up against these guys, and it was like basically Gulliman needs a 6 to get this off. If he gets this off, it's game over, sort of thing. And Nick Baton rolls a 6, and it's just like, ah! He's just like, I just typed in there like 6 happens. It's
Yeah.
like it does work sometimes. So instead of like shit happens, 6 happens,
Six
and
happens.
6. But it's those little moments in games. They're the real gems of your battles. Whatever your system you're playing, it's
Oh,
like
absolutely.
down, down to the crunch of it. This is where the game is won or it's
I
lost.
would probably never. I wouldn't even necessarily want to even play like a role playing these a game these days. But I gotta say, maybe if it was in a different format or something, but role playing games back in the day were still some of the ones that the stories stick with me to this day. Of like the just like how the worlds played out and like how they'd spark your creativity and what you could like do and just stuff like that. Those were always ones that I just enjoyed and like stuck with me as far as creativity wise.
Yeah, it was like what so many stories of like how things just went disastrous with dice rolls and stuff like that. But one of my favourite ones was playing Star Wars, like the West End game Star Wars games, and I had a character who I called. I don't know if you know, like the expanded universe. There was a smuggler called Talon Card,
Mm-hmm.
compared to the Empire books, and I based my character on his name, and I called him Claws Paper, called Talon Card, Claws Paper. His ship was called a Corellian Falcon, and
Oh.
basically there was an American wrestler, Nash,
Oh, I
who's
think I remember that
all,
name of
all
a
Nash
wrestler. Yeah.
tag team, like 6'6", proper rock god, long hair, leather, and all that. So basically,
Yeah.
I based my character. He looked like James. Looks like Nash. Um, was called Talon Paper, like Claws Pepper, and was a smuggler. And we was on a planet where there was like these street urchins, sort of thing, like a gang of kids, and they were trying to mug us, steal our money and all that sort of stuff. And the games master said, "Oh, this kid's coming running right towards you," sort of thing. And I went, okay, I'm going to brace myself. And he goes, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to let him run up to me, and then I'm going to kick him straight between the legs, sort of thing. And I'm thinking, I'm 6'6" tall, a few £100 of force. That's going to take the wind out of him, right? And I've rolled my dice, and I critted it. So I've literally just field golded this this like
He
young
like
teen.
killed the kid. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like kadunk, right between the legs, sort of thing. And I thought, oh, that was a great roll. I've pelted this guy from to here to the end of time. and he gave me a dark side point. I went, why? He was attacking
Oh
me.
yeah, because you
No, no,
beat
no, that was evil. Okay,
Blood
but
Medusa said, one of my favorite moments, my 20 bloodletters taking down an Armiger Warglaive on full wounds in one turn. That was a sweet, sweet moment. Yeah, that is a good one. That's pretty crazy. Just swarm it with bloodletters and take it down. That's pretty impressive.
if you want to know how powerful Grey Knights are, I had an Armiger taken out by one of their characters in one round of fighting. Sorry,
Really?
I didn't even get to fight back. He
Wow.
charged in and hit me 5 times because they hit on a 2+ and they re-roll ones. He was like one
Okay.
of their character dudes.
Yeah.
And he hit me 5 times with a thunder hammer, which done 15
Oh,
damage,
yeah.
and just completely crumpled it. And it's just like, wow, these are a little bit tough.
Echo, thanks for watching. I gotta pause 1 second. Be right back. I said to give the dog something to do.
But yeah, like with you, Blood Medusa, with like those moments where you take out something nasty, like you just swarm in and just stab, 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 stab. It does give you a really great sort of satisfaction because those things and knights in general can really ruin your day. um, Overtime, I overwatched a Chaos Lord charging my tactical marines, misses everything, re-rolled a las cannon, get a 6 to wound him, and did 6 wounds. He died. So again, that is the sweet thing. From disaster comes glorious vindication and victory. Yeah, I used to play in like some doubles tournaments that Games Workshop used to run back in the sort of late, what do you call it, noughties, late noughties. There was a thing called Conflict that used to do at Alexandra Palace. So there'd be hundreds of people playing fantasy, Lord of the Rings, and 40k, and you'd like have your 2-player teams doing combat patrol sort of thing. And me and my friend were playing Tau, and as everybody knows, Tau suck big time in close combat. But we had a group, like a squad of Tau fire warriors, get charged by some Dark Eldar dudes. So like really badass, because Dark Eldar just like I'm stabbing and killing everything sort of thing. And they've charged in there. There was the tower's outnumbered. These Dark Eldar come charging in, and the tower won. It's just like what the, and we were like going, what the hell happened there? What? It's just
Echo.
like
Oh, sorry. I
mind
would say,
blowing.
Echo, thanks for stopping by. Said
Yeah,
goodbye.
cheers, Echo. See you again next time, dude.
Oh, and wait, one other thing in good news. Um, I got I go to this at the grocery store. I go in this little section, and they have like the sale section. When they're like discontinuing items or something, they pop it in there. And they had cheese, and I'm like, I don't know about sell cheese, but like they never. It's always well beyond like I think the expiration date is like 10 days from now. But it was like a $12.99 cheese. I got it for like $1.50. So that was a good. I was like, it was something I would never really. I wouldn't even try this cheese. It was something. It wasn't even something. It was like a round soft one. I'm like, for $12.99, I would have never tried it, you know. And I was like, I saw there like $1.50. I'm like, all right, done. So I'm like, I'll use some expensive cheese that's only $1.50.
Mm-hmm. This is a Black Wolf many years ago. Third ed, my Blood Angels Assault Terminators versus my friends Corn Berserkers. Absolute carnage. Only my sergeant survived the melee by the end of the battle, and it felt really fitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, in those like when you have a real meaty combat, you know, win or lose, you can stand back and go, "Wow, that was actually really hardcore. I really, enjoyed it,
Yeah, it's
even
fun.
if you've lost. But when you win, it says a little bit extra sweetness." There was a game I was playing. Again, we were doing myself and my friend Mike. I was playing my Raptors Space Marines, and he was playing some Imperial Guard, and we was up against 2 Eldar players and a Tau player. It was about, I think it was around about 4,000 points aside. Although the Xenos had a slight advantage because the Tau player was one of the elder player's sons who'd come along. So we said, oh yeah, whatever. So in the first few games, right, it's fireworks. My position is safe. My position is safe. Where the fuck that came from? I just thought, oh, now the dogs are barking. Jesus. I'm in an artillery barrage.
Because I was like, wait a second. I'm like, did my phone, like, what happened? I didn't know what happened. And I see you looking. I'm like, all right.
I'm under attack. But yeah, so like in I got basically the 2 Eldar players focusing on me and absolutely obliterated my entire force. I had 1 scout left. Out of 2,000 points, I had 1 scout left. And so he ran. He ran for all his worth. And he ran and sat on objective. And that objective won us the game. so it's just like, wow, that was just a bit crazy, fireworks, artillery, and winning the game with 1 dude.
Yeah, that's when you earn your back banner.
Yeah, everyone died past this 1 guy. It was that 1 guy sitting on objective that won it. That was crazy. Cue Cabin in the Woods music and kaboom! Oh dear. Yeah.
Are you streaming this Saturday?
Yes, I should be. I didn't last week because I had to travel into London, and I had a really heavy day at work. And driving into London is not my idea of fun because nobody can drive. Drivers in London is just like it is Russian roulette. Will they indicate? I don't know. Which way are they turning?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it was just a little bit. I was just like completely gone, and because I was so busy at work, I hadn't even had a chance to post up anything saying that I was going to be on that night.
Yeah.
And I was just wasted. So I just went, just crapped out basically. But yes, this weekend I will be on Saturday. That is the plan, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, it's. I don't know what I'm painting yet.
Did you ever do any terrain on stream yet?
Yeah, I did an Adaptus Titanicus building, which I technically haven't really finished. It's still sitting by my stuff in the kitchen.
Okay.
It was like I used the last bits of my scenic kits that I had to build this one big sort of building.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They're mostly painted. I think it's just mostly like just doing fine details and stuff. I have covered like my basing techniques in on the streams before as well. So
yeah.
If I've been doing building like when I was building up, I think it was a warlord, one of the many warlords I built. I did show how I went around doing the basing, sort of a step-by-step sort of thing. I know I've got to do some more videos like tutorial type stuff, because like with the your little incoming. Diddy Mao! Oh no, it's Vietnam all over again.
That's not just London drivers. And Overton says never go to Norway. Yeah, I want to make it over there sometime. I've been
to Denmark. That's as near as I've got to Overton. I went to Denmark twice in 2019. I really enjoyed Denmark. it's quite a nice country to visit, and I would like to go to Sweden. I would like to go to Finland. I would like to go to Norway. I'd like to do
Yeah,
all the.
there's no see that's just the same with me. There's a whole chunk over there that I've never been to that I'd really want to go see.
Hmm. But don't drive. Yeah, if I'm on holiday, I don't want to drive. I do enough driving as it is. I'd rather avoid driving. Um, I was born in Denmark. Oh, cool. I was out in Billund. The thing that I had issue with was obviously a lot, as a typical Brit, we spell things out how we see them, and we was asking for directions to a place which we pronounce as Veige because it was Veije. So I was Veige or Veige, and everyone's looking at us going, "Huh?" And then they said, "No, no, no, no. It's called Vile." And I'm like, "But you've got a J in it." or Odense. Like we pronounce it Odense, Odense sort of thing, which is one of a big city sort of thing. But the Danish call it Uns. So we're asking, we want to go to Odense, and everyone's again looking at us going, huh? Where you want to go?
See, I like
That's it.
how worldly. I like how worldly the chat is. We got all kinds of
Yeah,
people coming in from all over. I dig that.
yeah. So that yeah. Oh yeah. So Odense, I got Odense, and I got Vile.
See, that's too when the AE World Tour kicks off. I'm gonna get the tips on what good stuff to eat when I go different places. Like that's all I care about. Like, all right, you're like someone new from a country I don't know. What should I eat? That's a
what
couple
what what's
people. What's weird is
safety?
I heard from someone else about Malta. I don't even know. I don't even remember who it was saying it was crazy in Malta with the driving, and I don't. It wasn't even. It was like years ago, and somebody else I know, not from this. So that's kind of funny.
I think my head made more contact with the roof than my bum did on the seat. Yeah, that's. I was in Singapore many years ago when I was doing my travels. I just decided one day
When you were
just to.
worldly, when you got your youthly worldly travels in.
Well, no, no, I was 27.
Yeah, that's youthful.
I know what I say. Loads of people done it when they were younger, so like
Oh,
backpacking.
really? Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
But I got to a point where I'd always wanted to travel, and I thought I've got to do it. If I don't do it now, I won't never do it.
yeah,
And basically took out a loan to pay off my credit card, debit card, because I
yeah,
had a house at the time and everything. And so I took 5 weeks off from work. So 2 weeks was paid, the rest wasn't.
yeah,
Which I got into trouble with when I returned, but that's another story. Um, and basically, I bought a round the world ticket for me and my other half, so we could go up to 20,000 miles or something like that. So we went from London to Tokyo, which my biggest regret was not staying in Tokyo for a couple of days. We literally just it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
connecting flight. We were there for 10 hours, didn't
Hmm.
go out the airport, and then went to Cairns, which is in Queensland, Australia. Um, and then from Cairns, we spent 2 weeks in Cairns and going up and down Queensland's coast, seeing loads of things like Great Barrier Reef and all that sort of jazz,
Yeah.
uh, tablelands. And then we went to New Zealand. So we flew into Christchurch to begin with, I believe. I think it was Christchurch. And New Zealand was fabulous. It
Yeah,
was. It,
everyone always likes that too. Yeah.
the thing is, Lord of the Rings had only just come out, so it'd been out for about 2 months when we got out there, and we were looking up on the early internet thing. That was
Yeah.
and we actually visited a couple of the places where they filmed. Incoming.
Incoming.
So the Palanor Fields, where the Rohim, riders of Rohan charge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've walked on that field
I've
where
walked
they.
those
You know,
hallowed
I
grounds.
walked. I walked the Palanor Fields. I was the only place I actually got to actually walk on. We were
I
in the
think you need to
area.
break that out in the. You need to start some online argument just so you can break that out. I've walked the Palinor Fields. You know, like you don't even know shit what you're talking about because I've walked the Palinor
I've
Fields.
walked the Palanor Fields.
Yeah. Have you
There,
surveyed those fields? I don't think so.
I was there on the Palanor
Yeah.
Fields many years after the action actually took
Many
place.
years after the battle
Yeah.
took place.
Yes, it happened years before I got, but I walked the field. I was actually looking for like lost props and stuff.
Oh yeah, why not?
Nothing. But yeah, no, it's it was a wonderful place. Uh, Overton done a tour of Iraq. Still met drivers and the Norwegians. Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, we've been 2 hours. I think I'm going to end up, I have to go back and work on these more, but I think I'm going to call it good for now.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cans.
And I'm
Yes,
going to
yeah.
try to stream. I'm doing, I think I'll be able to Sunday. I hope so. It's either this week or next week. I'm going to do for Patreons. I started contacting them and get some of their pictures and do like a Patreon Paintover day. So I'm going to do that probably on a Sunday stream. I don't know if it's this one or the next one,
Yeah.
but I'm going to get that in there. You got any
Get that
special plans for the weekend?
I mean, well, apart from avoiding ordnance, um, oh, sounds like they're
They'll
kicking off.
get there. Thank you, Blood Medusa. I'm trying. They got a ways to, I'm. It's one of those where I can't. As much as I want to rush it, you can't. Like sometimes my brain just doesn't see. Like it wants to do something, but it doesn't see what it needs or missing. So I usually like pause for a little while and then I'll probably go back tonight with like fresh eyes. Like I won't look at them for a while, and then be like, oh, okay, it really needs this or it doesn't or whatever.
Sorry, I've been distracted because one of the locals is out there hunting down the people setting the fireworks off, and all I can hear is like effing and blinding and other
Oh, is
creative.
that what it was? It fireworks?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
had no idea.
I'm not really under attack.
No, I didn't even. It didn't sound. It like it's more sounded like it sounded like a box was falling off a shelf or something.
No, no, no. It was explosives.
Oh, that makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. There's nothing to celebrate
That's what I was
apart from
gonna say. What are the like just blowing stuff up for the sake of blowing it up?
yeah. Well, today is the 7th anniversary of the release of
Yeah.
Destiny. So obviously, yeah, that.
Yeah, might as well set some stuff off for that.
Wonderful to see these being created. Nice to hang out with you. It's lovely to have you, Blackwall, and
Yeah,
you,
really
Blood.
appreciate you stopping by for real. That, like helps a
And
lot. And it makes
Overton,
it fun. I have fun. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about this whole streaming thing. I didn't know how to enjoy it. I'm
yeah, I
jaded
was saying
and
what
old.
it's all about. It's a laid back, chill zone of watching you work. me drinking. Yeah, people can just watch how well things are going. I only had 3 beers today. Obviously, I was trying to keep the action on the screen,
Yeah.
not me start doing a Family Guy and like woo.
It worked. I know. One day I'm gonna drink and drink and chat.
Yeah. We'll say it's a hard day at work, and
Yeah,
I've
you
got.
did. It's a perfect time for it, though. You got like, yeah, you got off work and you come in to have a beer and chat with us. That's like a kind of a good. I think that's a good after work thing.
So now what we should have is actually like a little at the start we have like the cheers. Sometimes you want to go.
Yeah, I know. So I need.
Artists can actually over.
All right. That's part of it. I need to work on like some audio clips, and I need some little. I gotta spruce this up because we need to. Uh, and we're gonna have a little lore. Okay, we need, or I need, like, I think I'm gonna do like a little segment of like reading some of the old lore from like the books I have, and like literally only like a 5 minute or like a little snippet with some more obscure kind of thing. I sort of like show like the screenshot of the pic, or the page in the like in the magazine or the White Dwarf or the rule book, and then do like a little tidbit of lore with it.
Well, that could be something that our beloved followers and participants could actually help out with if they wanted to like submit, like if they've got something in a White Dwarf or a
That
White.
would be, yeah, something cool like that. I'm gonna start putting
Yeah.
together something
So if
like
any
that.
of you guys have anything that you want to sort of send in to us, and we can have a little look and go, hey, this was sent in by this cool dude or dudette, and we can just go and do that sort of thing, just like as part of our as part of our ongoing
Yeah,
show.
because I'm gonna, over the next year, I got to work on like just, okay, like making a, cleaning up the show and doing what more things that build out the content in a way that kind of makes sense and try some stuff. So I'm gonna do a little more with that. Overton says, "Have you considered Twitch?" I I was on Twitch, and I still have my account there and everything. It's just that in trying to build up the hours to be able to monetize YouTube, I feel better all in one place now. Even though Twitch, you could probably raise money quicker or whatever. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll stick at YouTube. If my interface program, I'm going to try another one maybe, but this always works so good that I don't like to change it. But I can't multi stream, or I would just stream to both Twitch and this. I did consider either doing like a 1 day thing on Twitch, or literally almost like playing some video games. I was like, oh, I'll start up on Twitch, and then when I play, just try to play a couple video games. So I don't know. I've thought about it.
He's also suggesting about maybe some excerpts from Red Dwarf
Oh
Forcing.
yeah, I should do that. I can review that. And that's the other thing. I want to do like a video with, maybe review some of the, just what I personally find interesting or whatever, like the little lore snippets and just like that stuff. Yeah, Overton, they do the dual stream. I just don't have it. The the software I was using wasn't, it kept kicking me out when I was trying stuff. So then I ended up paying for the software I use now, and the software I use now works brilliantly, although you can't multi-stream. So I wish I could, and so I may have to check, but we'll see.
Something we can work on in the future.
Yep. Yep. Lee, let me see your shirt. Wait, what do you got on for a shirt here? Wait, I
This
gotta
is
zoom in. Hang on, I gotta do a mini zoom in here. We can split screen it. Not all who wander are lost, but I can't read the small text. What's in the black?
Monument Valley, Utah.
Man, you were to Monument Valley, Utah?
No,
Oh, see, even better.
I saw the T-shirt. I thought, hey, I like the look of that. I like the cut of that jib. Uh,
Yeah.
and then I read it. I thought, oh, I like the sound of that.
All right, when
Not
I
all.
get some t-shirt merch going here shortly, I'm gonna have to send you a few things. I'll have to think of something. I'll have to think of something fitting for you. I'll be like, okay, so I'll have to make
I'll be
something that. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you everyone who joined. Really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. And what, Lee? Anything in closing?
um, um, yeah. Great show as always. If I get that Mr. Shouty
Sorry to
over
interrupt.
here, fireworks and Titan Warhorns, that is just going to set people over the edge. People are knocking at my door. Hey, oh, you come around here with your Titans? Who do you think you are? As they often do.
True.
So I just reading what Overton said. Like, I got a shirt in Scotland which said Vietnam, we were winning when I left. Yeah, oh, that's history for you. But no, I have no thoughts whatsoever. Just everyone. Hope you enjoyed my rambling mostly and my
It was
distracting
good.
techniques.
This was good. Yeah. It's funny how it's wild to me how much the whole, I don't know, I guess the miniature painting community, and then like doing these live streams and interacting with the people that I've interacted with a lot like through the last year. It's just, it wasn't like some, hey, I'm an online person, I always like it and want to be it. It's just like something you stumble into. So it was kind of like a,
Mm.
out of the whole plague, there was something decent that came out of it. So
It's a happy accident
yep,
podcast,
the
which is good.
happy accident. All right, I
Happy
think
accident.
I'm gonna lock this down. Everyone, you
Well, there
have
you
a
go.
good
No,
evening or
happy accident.
morning, and we